Live from your mother's basement in Adobe Premiere Hell, I'm your co-host, Kaiser Trigger, with the co-host, Heiny Boy.
Yo.
And we've got our guest, Evanit0, or Evanit0.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, there. Okay, Giorno. So, this is the Backseat Editors podcast. It's mainly about editing in general. This is the first episode. I don't know what the fuck we're going to be talking about, but
yeah, we're going to go on a lot of tangents, I guess.
Maybe, but we do
talk about editing.
Yeah, but we do have some basic questions that we will probably go over, and we'll ask Evan real quick because he's the guest. So the guest goes first. You know, ladies first.
No, thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
So, what is your philosophy on editing?
Don't do it. No. My philosophy on editing is, honestly, a good edit makes any video better.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, the content creator who's behind it is definitely what draws the audience. But if, the editors didn't exist, then the content just probably wouldn't be as good.
Well, I mean,
really.
Otherwise, then the content creator would have to start learning editing himself.
Yeah, they would. And to be fair, most content creators do start editing their videos on their own, and that's how they grew such a large audience. But after a while, to improve their content, they have to give it off to someone else. That way they can focus on just creating the idea as opposed to having to edit it as well.
But another meaning to philosophy was also how you edit. How do you handle it when you say edit for other people versus when you do it for yourself?
For example, are you a layout freak like me? Do you have a pancake timeline while you have, for example, the source tab, source tabbed to the same
I don't know.
window
Okay.
as the
why don't we just let him tell us that?
I think in terms of my timeline in Premiere when I edit, I try to keep it organized. It definitely isn't, but I do try. And it's definitely one of those things where, as the more complex the videos are, the more complex the timeline gets. And then I look at it and I'm like, I don't know where this one thing was that I need to go back and fix or check, right? And so it just becomes a process of trying to figure that stuff out. And it's hell for me all the time.
Okay.
So yeah, I try to stack my timeline though. If that answers the question.
So those images of editing hell, when somebody's posting their images of their timeline, it just has all this shit layered all over the place.
Yeah, no, that's my timeline.
Yeah, welcome to the club. How about you, Heiny? What's your philosophy on editing in terms of how you edit?
So in the case of how I edit, I'm a layout freak. I'll be completely real. I'm going to share basically the I'm going to share the layout I'm using. It's
take a screenshot and just put in VC chat, and then we can probably put that in post-production. Yeah,
I've moved the moved stuff out of the way.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have 80% of screen real estate just on the timeline.
So in a short way, because we don't have too much time. In a short way. How do you describe it?
In a short way, I have the background all the way down, all that. I usually have it very organized. I don't really use more than 8 layers. Nah, not 8.
Right.
Not 8. But that's when you have to sync text and that. Beside that, it is just 4 layers at most.
All right. I mean, personally, for me, I use as many layers as needed to get a certain effect, I guess. But it's when I edit for other people, it's I kind of think it's a watered down version of what I do for myself sometimes. But it's also just really hard to do, because when I started editing for Nux, he wanted it just could I give it from just like my Shield Hero video? And I was like, I guess, but in reality, it's no, not unless I co-script your video, because I script everything, right? When it comes to editing for myself, I script everything. Every little visual element was planned in the script, right? And how the flow and all that. So that's how I edit for myself. So when I edit for other people, I kind of try to take elements from that and put into there. And it's also like dependent on what kind of videos I'm editing. If it's live action, it's going to be different. You know, if there's a cam, right, versus nothing, because that's what happens with Nux. I have nothing to work with other than the audio.
Yeah.
Man, so my first edit for Nux.
That was
the first
your JoJo, the JoJo video?
Not the JoJo one, but the one with the voice actors. Basically, the first thing he mentioned in his recording was a voice actress and a tweet. And I've never heard about this voice actress ever. And I'm like, okay, where should I start? So I sent him a message like, yo, there's a tweet you mentioned. Could you link me? A couple hours later, I got the link and I'm like, oh yes, now I can finally do some
actual work because you were stopped.
Some actual work.
You were completely halted because he gave you nothing.
Nothing but a .wav file.
Yep. Okay, so what programs do you guys use? Evan, you go first when it comes to editing.
Premiere and After Effects, they are the kings. However, if I could use DaVinci Resolve a little bit better, I'd use that. I
personally use Premiere, sometimes After Effects, depending on what I want to do. But for me, I still would say I prefer Premiere because it's there's a tool that I have that I use that's in Premiere that everybody can use if they get Premiere. But I'll get into that with like the favorite editing trick. So how about you, Heine? What do you use?
So I use primarily Premiere, and at times when I need some effects, I mark the footage, right click, and just click replace with After Effects composition.
Right.
Then I just pre-comp and add whatever through Video Copilot.
Right. Okay, so here's the next part. What's your favorite editing trick?
Ooh.
Yeah, Evan, you go first.
I think mine is definitely, it's a very simple thing too, right? And I guess it works well for me since like for my own videos and for like Sea Dog's videos, they're very similar in an aspect that like I could just zoom in and have the camera shake. I do that a lot. It's so simple but very effective.
So are we talking like using Sapphire for like the S shake or something?
No, actually, I use what was it? It's a plugin by the people that made the camera shake for the Deadpool movie.
Oh yeah,
I just use that.
Oh, there's actually I think I have a similar program.
Yeah, you linked me.
Is it called a Jarls or something? Deadpool camera shake?
Oh yeah,
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
handheld camera.
I use that all the time.
I have it up.
I mean, I've done. Sometimes I use S shake depending on what and it can get a similar effect. But the one Jarls Deadpool, I think is what it's called, Jarls Deadpool camera shake. It does something like more like what you're talking about, which I've been using for like Nux when I put like I did his what was it? I'm ending this shit now or something. Where we talked about Kotaku, right? And I started using that, and that was also the first time I got the new avatars for him, because I haven't done any videos for him in a while. But, you know, in terms of editing tricks, it's kind of a toss-up for me, because sometimes I like to use S-Shake to get, like, certain effects, you know? And sometimes I'll use it with, like, this... You know Gabriel Dropout, the anime?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's this one picture I found that I just love of Gabriel, where it's just a transparent image of her in this chibi kind of form, where she's just like really mad, and I use that a lot of times. But also, here's a trick for anybody wanting to get into Premiere and they want motion blur: stick to the transform tool, because in Premiere you can get motion blur by using something called the transform tool. In Premiere, the transform tool is like a secondary kind of addition, where it's like you have the control panel for the effects, you know, where you go into keyframe everything. Transform tool recreates that entire control panel as like a second one, and whenever you do all your animations in that, all your keyframing and all that in that, and then there's this option for like shutter angle speed or something, I guess, or directional or whatever. You click that off, and then you change the direction, and it'll choose. It's like a directional blur, but it works better than the actual directional blur because the directional blur sometimes will move your animation away from where it was supposed to go for no fucking reason.
You know, I use it all the time too if I want like a quick and easy, like, you know, motion blur. But like if I want it to look really, really good, I always go to After Effects.
Yeah,
it's just so much better.
It's just like it is better in After Effects, but then it's like, how do you like work in After Effects like without like, you know?
Yeah,
like,
the live rendering. Oh my god.
Live rendering, and then you have to like kind of like switch back and forth, I guess, between them. So it's
for me, it's not a problem since my PC is pretty beefy.
Right.
It used to be a problem when my PC was not.
Yeah.
But like even back then, I mean, it struggled, but I had to do it. But honestly, I would say definitely wouldn't be one of the things I would use unless your PC is good enough to handle having both programs open.
I mean, it also depends on what you're trying to do. So, you know, because, like, for example, sometimes what I'll do is I'll go into Premiere, like, during a Nux video. I did his first 3 greatest plots in hentai, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first one, he was talking about that elf anime, Sukabe, whatever. It's like the elf hentai.
Sukabe elf novella.
Mortier, whatever it's called. So there's a scene. There's this one scene.
Oh.
So I have it play out, and then I have it screenshotted in Premiere, and then I'll cut the part out after that, and put that in front there as the next frame, and just extend it, and then like after I go into After Effects, like and turn it into like this shatter kind of thing. Use the shatter, and then I'll have like it shatter with like a green screen behind it, so I can ultra key that out and have like Nux's face behind it or something, you know? Like sometimes I'll do something like that, you know, because it doesn't take much to put a shatter effect onto a still image.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, just a little tip, you know, you can do that, screenshot things, because Premiere might have some kind of plugin it can do for shattering the image, but it probably costs a lot of fucking money, and I've seen them, like Natress or whatever, like just for one effect. I'm not paying, like 40 fucking bucks for that shit? No.
Exactly. I mean, I've paid for a bunch of, add-ons like Premiere and After Effects, and I think they're absolutely worth it. Because, you know, at the end of the day, they pay themselves off. They've allowed me to be a lot faster at editing because I just, slap those animations and transitions on, and I just get to keep going.
Yeah, it's it's like it also depends, I guess, on like how fast you work, because like for me it's like I've gotten used to Premiere to where I can just kind of already get what I'm going to do and be like, okay, well, here if I'm going to do something, why don't I just put something underneath the video, like an image, and have it scale up, and then have the opacity lower, you know, like the image underneath it will be like a guy's head just holding his head, you know, just like, oh my god, when they're talking about like some kind of like really something really gnarly, you know, like something gross or disgusting, and just like that Netflix video that Nux made that I made for him, you know, the one where he talked about cuties, you know, it's just like, I used this image twice, and it's from that tomboy meme where it's like need tomboy with the 4chan captcha, but the guy that's just that stick figure, that not stick figure, but that meme guy holding his head. So I cut that guy out, and then I put it under there, and it's just like, you know, it's good for giving a general sense of worry, you know, that kind of face. Like, yeah. So those are the basic questions. So I guess we can kind of get into like just random shit. I guess here's the tangents we can go on. So we mainly are anime YouTubers and anime YouTuber editors, right?
Yes, it's true.
So what is your favorite video you've ever worked on, Evan?
Ooh, gosh, this is a very good question. I guess favorite in terms of creatively editing it.
Well, also versus yourself and also other people. So pick one you've done for yourself and then one you did for other people.
So I'm very proud of my edits in my Cautious Hero or Overly Cautious Hero Bridge, because I had to do everything from start to finish, like sync up like everyone's.
Is that your video? Is that your video you made? Okay, so you did an abridged episode. Okay.
I did an abridged episode, so I had to like sync up everyone's like audio to like lip flaps and stuff like that. Obviously do the entire sound design, like footsteps, background sounds, stuff like that. I'm very proud of that because it, at the end, I'm super proud because watching it back, and I've watched it back several times, it just feels like an actual episode of anime, and I really like that.
Right. Yeah.
In terms of editing for other people.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Heine, what?
Yeah, stuff like that is usually hard to pull off. Like the editing and
it's just it doesn't sound that hard, but it's also just very time consuming. So
no, absolutely,
it's hard on the it's hard on the ass cheeks because you got to sit there and just go through all that.
Yeah, it's a tedious task, and your tailbone is going to be smashed by the end of the year.
Yeah. So in terms of other people's videos, Evan, go ahead.
In terms of other people's videos, I guess I'm still to this day really proud of editing an entire documentary for Sea Dog. It was at the time I think it was 12 hours of footage, which back then my computer was slower and I was a lot slower of an editor, but I did it within 9 days. These days I can take 10 hours of footage and probably crank that out in 2 days.
Have I got a story for you then when it comes to how long it took me to edit stuff.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Ooh boy. So I'll probably put something up on screen to show exactly what I'm talking about, but so in terms of editing for other people, my favorite videos, probably the greatest plots, first 3 greatest plots in hentai that I did for Nux. They're just really fun to work on, just really stupid videos, the topics, but they were fun. And then I did one of the time stop hentai flex where he was the greatest flex, not the greatest flexes in hentai, but the greatest flex, where he talked about how time stop hentai was trending on Pornhub, right? That one was nice. And yeah. But in terms of editing for myself, ooh boy. So I've got 2 channels, right? I recently, not this year, created a second channel to my main channel. And I did a VTuber video. But I can guarantee you there's probably nobody who did this shit for a VTuber video that goes up to 33 minutes long. So it's kind of like a documentary, right? This is kind of how I edit a lot of my videos. It's almost like I'm doing a movie or a TV series kind of thing, like a documentary where it's I plan it out there's a flow to it, right? Where it's I'm taking you on a journey, right? Well, in order to visualize exactly how I wanted this thing to go, I had to I had to rotoscope for an intro.
Oh no.
And so let me just...
There was not only one rotoscope either.
Yeah, it was 2, I think. Basically, there are 2 moments where I rotoscope, but here's the big chunk of it. So let me go ahead and just show you what I'm talking about, okay? I'm going to go ahead and screen share. Let me just...
I'll just sneak in my responses as well then, in the meantime. So,
yeah,
my favorite edit so far, it is kind of a tie between the Joestar rap from Nonarch Joshua. I edited that one. It needed so many fan animations because of parts 6 and 7 and 8. And the other one, which would be tied to it, would be Rustage's Dio rap.
Right. Okay.
Because it is basically a redemption piece. Because my first edit was Nonarch Joshua's Dio rap, and there was a lot of errors in that edit.
Right. So.
Oh man.
So I found the video. I'm going to screen share it. Okay.
All right.
It is literally called A Study on Simps featuring virtual YouTubers. So you see it?
Can we just talk about how many tabs you have open? What is this?
Okay, I do. That's actually I do a lot of research on YouTube. I look at other people's edits, but let's just stick to the topic at hand. This video.
I look, man. If you need to talk to someone about your tab problem,
it's fine.
I can help.
It's fine.
Are you sure?
Look, okay. I don't need to go sober on tabs. All right.
All right.
Just okay. So I started off like this, right? I got some Chrono Trigger music in the background, and it's like a meditating image coming by, right? Listen carefully, for we are about to embark. So it starts off really kind of serious sounding, like, oh, this is a big video. This is something serious he's talking about. It's a serious study on simps, when it's really half serious, right? So I talk about, like, we need to go over VTubers and simps, right? A phenomenon on the internet, a cesspool of the most awkward and entertaining videos people have ever seen, and how it became the medicine needed to evolve simps into simps of culture. Oh my fucking god, I don't even know if I'm ready for this.
Oh god.
This was an entire MMD dance, and I had to go into After Effects with the Rotobrush tool and fucking cut that shit out. It was never a green screen.
Oh,
It took me probably like 2 weeks of nonstop work. Because there were thousands of frames to go in, because there was a new movement almost every fucking frame.
So what you're saying is you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna put it over a green screen and share it for the rest of us to use, right? Be a good lad.
I think I have it in my Google Drive.
Lad who rotoscoped the entire Chica dance.
Not exactly. I didn't rotoscope the entire thing. I just did a few seconds of it because that's all I needed. But I did this, right?
That's worth it.
Right, so that's what I rotoscoped. And I just, the way I edit, I planned it out like all this shit, right?
So here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go ahead and move her across the screen?
Moved her here
Yeah,
I positioned everything. I had to position everything so I could show off.
Here's my other question.
Yeah.
When you said you wrote it a few seconds, I'm noticing that the animation loops. Did you loop it yourself, or was it already looped and you just wrote that?
I had to kind of. I think I tried to do some looping, in order to get like just a shred of it, like to continue,
Yeah.
I probably did some kind of like, okay, because the way it worked is like the animation itself at those parts was not so like different, so you could just like reverse the speed and it would just come out just fine. I guess I think that's what I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, like, that's what I mean when I say I'm going on a journey. It's like, I start you off here, then it's like...
What to do?
Delve into the minds of simps and understand the evolution that virtual YouTubers have forced upon them, we must first go over the... I also drew that too, that stupid logo.
Oh yeah, I'll be completely honest. That nose and that horn doesn't really look PG.
I don't care. YouTuber, and a few other things. So let me take you back to a time that is considered by many to be the advent of modern social justice disputes.
Oh, by the way, sub to Evan.
Yeah, so just going through like the previous decade of like memes and stuff, right?
It looks like you just put a lot into this.
Yes. The current year is 2011. So there's that. Obama was still the president, and then I had to introduce like the years of VTubers when they arguably started. Like I had to do a lot of research, right?
Yeah.
So like you have like this is who was argued to be one of the first iterations of what could be a VTuber, to possibly many as the first true virtual YouTuber. And each time I gave him a different intro.
I just had this idea of starting a video diary to clear my...
Because she's from London, so I gave her that kind of music there, and I had it write itself out like that. Kind of fancy, But then we start getting into some really crazy shit. And this is what I mean by scripting. It's like everything is planned. That was planned, and this is planned. Of YouTube. Now, let's skip further in time. By at least 3 years. 2014. The FIFA World Cup is held in Brazil. Ebola Chan is having her most historic outbreak that began in West Africa. And something new was on the horizon. Something new that, while not what would skyrocket VTubers into stardom, is what would come to resemble more closely what we know as virtual YouTubers today. Jesus. Alien? Okay, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Alien. Yeah, so just she's really crazy.
I can tell.
Considered to be the first real VTuber, at least. Yeah, so I start going over some stuff, but she is weird as fuck, right? There's one thing that I really have to talk about that I hope you noticed.
No, but that's like incredible though, because like for your edits, you go through and you plan everything out, right? And you go ahead and you like try to like edit to your own script and stuff like that. But like when you're editing for other people and you don't have their script, you don't have any idea what they want you to do, you just have to kind of get inside their head and try to figure it out on your own, right? Like it just becomes really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And,
and with Nux, it's like I kind of get that, but yeah, I plan that whole thing out. So like that's how I edit for myself, right? So it's like I turn it into like this huge project that a lot of people like. I even Giga, I saw his video. I don't think he actually rotoscoped anything in that video. That video took me 2 months to work on, right?
Jesus Christ.
Which if I was to try to do that today, I'd probably have a bit of an easier time because I'm used to rotoscoping now, I guess a bit, but I'd still probably pay somebody else to rotoscope what I wanted because that's a fucking nightmare.
Take a trip to Fiverr.
So, like, you know how there's like the rotobrush tool and it's like that pink outline that forms around whatever you want, right? Every night when I'm done working, I'd close my eyes, right, to rest. Dude, I could still see that pink outline. I could just see it vaguely, like I had a sixth sense, like seeing it, like it was like PTSD or some shit. Every night it was just, oh my god. But yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you, but Evan is not the only guy who's got a taste for pink.
Oh yeah. But also but when I edit for other people, like with Nux, I get what he wants. He's like, he likes memes, right? So I get like that kind of sense, okay, a style like this would work with him because there's a lot of memes going around, or there's like in the video like I made for him just recently, which was shit, I can't believe I forgot the topic. Oh, in Netflix, right? There's one part where he's like just talking about something, and so I put like a Filthy Frank green screen over it, where it's just like, oh yeah, this is the shit, where he's just so it's, and I had it like the volume lowered down so you could still tell if you listen close enough. But yeah, basically, he was talking about something. I figured the meme works, I guess, in a way, because he was talking about like what he was talking about. Something good happens or whatever. I forgot because it was like, yeah. But that's what I mean versus when I edit for other people and when I, edit for myself, right?
Yeah. As for me, I've only been editing for other people. Like, I don't really have a channel myself.
You might want to fix that.
Yeah, I might. I was thinking of making a channel where I basically go through the behind the scenes of editing.
Yeah.
Honestly, this podcast is kind of going hand in hand with that.
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, basically
that's what thing. It's editing, so it's something we both do.
Yeah, so because I've basically been editing for other people, I've always been kind of spontaneous on what to put into the edit, but also because I do get spontaneous with it. Some projects have even taken me like a month.
Yeah.
And those were basically the AMV edits for None Like Joshua.
That's another thing too to take into account is what kind of video are you doing? Are you doing like an essay kind of video? Are you doing like an AMV? Like, what are you doing for other people? That can determine the kind of edits you'd be going for.
Yeah. Is it going to be a commentary thing? Is there going to be a camera? How much background music do you want?
Personally, for me, I think working with somebody who just uses a camera would be the easiest thing ever. That's why I really like Nux's editors, because it's like, here's the thing. For somebody like Nux, editors are like the entire backbone of the video, right? They're the entire spine, because it's like he provides just the audio, right? So it's it's not like he's providing you a direction, like saying, okay, I need this to happen, this to happen, this to happen. Because that's what I would be like if I was to give somebody a script. I'd be like, okay, this is how it's going to go, right? If I wanted to try to find an editor, which usually I just edit my own videos. I only had one person edit something for me, which was a parody of a Pokemon theme song, but about Pokemon. And it was edited by a guy called Zombear Vincent. But, yeah, so when it comes to, like, that, it's like the spine, right? Nux's editors, because you have to, it's not just filling in the blanks. Everything is a blank. Everything is a blank. The only thing you have is the audio.
You have to fill in an entire void.
Yes.
But, yeah, so, let me... Okay, so
you have to create life where there is no life. It's like it's like going from nothing, and you skip Adam and Eve and just go right to advanced civilization.
Okay, so here I'm screen sharing my Premiere right now.
Yeah. All right, watching.
So this is basically how my timeline looks, or my editing workspace. Basically.
Yeah, make sure you take a screenshot of that so I can put it in post.
Yeah, I already got a screenshot going. Or it's already on the voice chat, so like the text. Here's basically the project files, all of that. I just drag it all into the top timeline and scrub through, cut, and go on to here.
Yeah.
What you see right here is text.
Yeah.
It is basically this, the black
the black band, yeah. The see-through black band, the ghost band.
The see-through black band and all that.
The black band. Ooh, that sounds that sounds racist.
Oh man, chill out.
Oh no.
I only got one screen to work with, so I just have to be a little bit creative with it.
Whew, boy.
Yeah.
It's a mess. Yeah, sometimes it's a mess in like the timeline. Especially with mine, because you got like all these different layers and just like sometimes like nothing. Yours is like more clean than mine, because mine just looks like almost like a dinosaur fossil of all sorts of messes. just like all these different layers put together, and it's just like it looks like it's trying to come out as like an entire village, right? Like a 2D static image of like a village all layered out, just like houses and shit. Like, what am I doing? Making a village in Minecraft or something, but it's just 2D.
Oh, by the way, Evan, I got a question for you. Since you see I've edited for example, both Josh and Rustage, right?
I want it edited for Rustage.
Unironically, I whenever somebody told me the name Rustage, I had Rusty Cage in my mind.
That's funny.
Fucking Rusty Cage.
Rusty Nicolas Cage. Alright, so my question would be, so have you do you have a certain guideline on basically the transitions and such? Because usually I just use cross zoom and push, and that's it. And a general rule of like 3 frames, that's it.
I don't. So when I edit for like myself or Sea-Dog, I use transitions all the time because it's just more chaotic, I feel.
Yeah.
The way we both film videos. Well, that's Rustage's videos, since it's just like him telling a story with like the raps or whatever, I never use transitions ever. Except for I guess the rap battle video where I was like, okay.
Oh, you would be quite surprised with the
when it comes to transitions,
the Dio video then.
Yeah, when it comes to transitions, I kind of like, it's like, for example, in the Netflix video that I did for Nux just recently, so, like, when you say transitions, I think, okay, scene transition or transition of what they're talking about, like, because I've noticed some editors for Nux will, like, they'll use a lot of his character images when he's talking, but they won't do as much, cause I've seen, like, just some videos where it's just, like, what they'll do is, like, they'll zoom the character image a bit or something, but, like, what I'll do is I'll take advantage of green screens, right, so I can, in a way, kind of naturally transition into something completely different than that. So I'll have like a transition kind of green screen. So what I'll do is like what I did in the recent video, I took a smoke screen transition green screen, and then when the smoke clears, you see, like, because he's talking about the chronology of an event or something, so I'll have like this timeline. So he's talking about Netflix and the chronology of Netflix, how it got from Netflix to Cuties. Instead of just that, I went into Photoshop, made this huge, like, long kind of picture of Blockbuster Video, Hollywood Video, Netflix when it was a video rental service, in the mail rental service, then Netflix when it started doing PC, then Netflix as we know it now, then Cuties. And I had this, like, underneath that screen in the timeline, you have that kind of moving sideways, right? So it's like you're traveling through time. And then I had a time, this kind of like line of this white line getting bigger and then smaller as if it's a line going in time. Then underneath that, I had like black bars that would be like at different points, showing screenshots, like little bitty images. So it's kind of like I try to be creative like that, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I translate some of my style to stuff. It's like so. But yeah, it usually, like, both of those videos I did recently from Nux probably took me like a day and a half, maybe, or a day, to make. Like just a day and a half of like nonstop work, except for playing Genshin Impact here and there. I just started it.
Yeah,
I guess that's one of the things with editing.
That's the thing. I'm guilty of the crime of getting Kaiser into Genshin.
See, you're the reason he's distracted.
Well, Here's the thing. For me, editing is kind of that job where you have to kind of distract here and there. Like, I'll do some work and I'll be like, okay, for example, like, there are times I'm just like, okay, I need to get up and just give my ass cheeks a break, my tailbone a break. But basically, like, holy shit, like Genshin, ooh boy.
Man, I'm still trying to roll for Venti here. I've got less than 1 day left. Ooh,
I would say
I'm 50 rolls in.
I would say if you can, just put some money. This is probably where, if you haven't, you probably want to put some money in, because I believe if you do like 90 rolls, like 90 any like single rolls, or you could add, or 10 for every 10 roll, right? Then you have like a 50% chance of getting Venti or a 5-star character. So, but yeah, that's what I did. For one of the videos that I did for Nux, I got like $112. So I was like, okay, I'll buy the $99 pack with that one. And geez, let me go and just in the VC text, I'll show my fucking roster, dude. Like, this roster, like, oh my god, if I can find it.
In the meantime, I'm actually going a little bit weirdly back into the topic of like editing for rustage, because the whole thing about the transitions, I just kind of want to share what I did with the Dio video.
Okay, so I found the picture. Let me just go ahead and let's get through this one real quick, because this one will take. So this is the roster that I got. I got 3 new characters from that $100 pack, including Venti, right? In the VC text. Venti. VC text. So I got Venti, Mona, and Sucrose from that. And the worst part about it is that almost every time I would do like a multi-summon, I'd get a Zhanling in it, and I'm like, I'm almost like, even though that's not the one I wanted,
I've got 2 Zhanling dupes, and I'm
bruh. 1 dupe away from fully constellationing her or whatever.
Oh man!
And that was all from free summons, except for Venti, Mona, and Sucrose. Everything was just from free in-game currency. If they made it easier to get free in-game currency, like, if you got like a Primo gem every time you completed like something like a new quest or whatever, it'd probably be a little easier on the wallet. And so I'm probably not going to spend any more money after this. Like, never.
Yeah, I completely understand that.
Yeah.
So, Evan, I want to kind of showcase the transitions, because there was this one phase.
Yeah. Is that the one you showed me before?
Yeah, the Dio rap.
Yeah.
That Rustage did. Man, like, honestly, it took me 2 days, and it's still one of my proudest edits right now. And also, just ignore the dolphin right there. But bless you, Evan.
No, that was me. I coughed.
Oh, Kaiser, sorry.
Bless me.
Yes, I will.
Oh. Okay, Mr. Pope.
So the one I'm very most proud of is this part right here, after the staggers, right? There was a lot of frame compressions throughout the timeline here, and just take a look and you'll get it.
Crime, rapping a gypso. Fine, like Hatsune Miku, the world is mine. You wait bodies like vacuum in
Yeah, that
That's
one.
pretty nice. That is pretty nice.
That one took me quite some time. Oh, another one was actually a frame or a clip where I actually didn't.
That's the thing about AMVs. You really want the
you want something smooth.
Those, well, not just smooth, but snappy, like those kinds of things.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like Nux's videos where you're like just have like his character image and he's talking in some weeaboo room or whatever, some room full of merchandise.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of that whole aspect.
I found a room that was too weeb for him.
I'm so proud of that because I started that. I was the first person to put him in a room, and ever since then he like asked like Core and like Jack to do that, and then everyone just like followed suit after.
That's the thing. It's like it's really nice when you start something, like, because before, when I first started editing for Nux, nobody except for me like was regularly using like the space background, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I kind of started that for a while, where they were just using like the space background, like stars in space and all that.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I used some free presets for glitch transitions, and there's one dude who started editing just about the same time as me, Metal Hulk. Yeah, I'll be completely honest, he kind of killed my glitch transition vibe. Kind of like
he uses it too often.
He used it. Here's the thing: he also uses it. When he started using it, it was like every second time Nux was changing character or changing avatar image. Like that is a little bit too much. Just keep it to the scenes.
You know a guy called Just a Robot? Jar.
Yeah,
he had this one video where this editor was like had like the character image changing every time he talks or something, and he would have like this really annoying kind of bounciness to it where it'd be like kind of just bouncing around like a stretch and bounce or something that would just keep occurring every time, and he would just move his arms around and stuff like in different poses, and it's just like, that's way too often. It was so obvious. Everybody in the comments was talking about it. That's kind of what I've seen with a lot of Meta Hulk's videos too, where he'll like, for example, in one of the videos I saw, I believe he constantly had Nux's avatar zooming in every time he started a new sentence or something, and then zooming out, you know, like to add a kind of an oomph. But I'm like, okay, that's a little too much. Maybe here and there, like, otherwise it becomes too redundant, so it lacks an impact, right? So if he starts raising his voice, then maybe you can do that, you know? And if he starts raising his voice, like he's trying to get angry or something, sometimes what I would do in that kind of situation is put like something music that the music would change, because I would change the music quite often dependent on the thing, right? So it's like if he gets angry, I'll play, or if he talks about something like, I believe it was in one of his hentai videos that I did for him, he just goes like,
"What? How can you not be vegan? That is so cruel to the cow who has already given milk, and the milk is in the store, and by you not taking the milk in the store, it literally doesn't do anything. But how can you take that milk? Oh my god, it's so cruel." You
know, because it's like...
Yeah,
and I'm like...
Oh, what? What is this?
Or something like that, and I played one of those boss themes from Legend of Zelda, I think it was Ocarina of Time. So it was like, or I would play something like the Team Rocket theme from Pokemon, you know, the anime. You know?
Yeah.
Da 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 da, you know, just like, and it would just like, you know, it was like I think it was where he was talking about that one hentai with that cowgirl. He was like, "Why are they milking this cow?" And they're talking, and then he goes on to talk about like vegetable rights or whatever, PETA.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a hectic thing, because that's what Nux does. You know, it's like, he's really hectic. There's not too much structure to what he talks about, you know. A lot of times I have trouble like following what he's talking about, but so it's like I have to kind of like work with that. Nothing against Nux though. There's an appeal for chaos, sure.
I'll just say, fucking bless his his patience with me, because when I first started for him, right?
10 days, right?
10 days. 10 days. I spent 10 days on that first video. That was the voice actors one.
Yeah. Was that before you started using Premiere?
That was when I actually started using Premiere at that point.
When you started,
I had 10 days, or I spent 10 days getting used to the Adobe climate from migrating
from Vegas, right?
From Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Vegas is a mess trying to work with a lot of times for me.
Yeah, the funny part is how I got Vegas, because it is an actual legitimate copy of Vegas Pro 14. I got Vegas Pro on Humble Bundle in a Magix suit, media suite type of bundle. I got it for $20, the whole thing. We're talking about their makeshift Photoshop, Illustrator, everything.
Yeah.
For $20. That was quite a deal, because it also had like
at least you got
audio.
at least you got that deal, instead of like it being instead of it being like ridiculously expensive to the point where you probably, because like that's probably like why some people like pirate like editing programs, because they're that expensive a lot of times, like to get like a subscription service like every month, and it's like and sometimes some people just don't want to do that, especially if you're starting out.
Yeah.
Some people will, start pirating, but then they'll go and buy the legit thing.
Yeah, that's from what I've seen, right? Adobe actually has all their measurements to actually prevent all the piracy and all of that.
Yeah.
But they let it go because they know that when they are self-sufficient enough, they will get the license.
Yeah.
They will subscribe.
Yeah.
Which is why I have never deleted my older versions of Adobe Premiere, because if I can't like subscribe, it's like, hey, at least I got an older version. But yeah,
lucky dog.
But it's a good thing to keep other versions, because if they go to a format that you can't keep up with, then you at least have those older ones that aren't in the system, so you keep those older ones, or you just go to Movie Maker. How about you, Evan? You ever used Movie Maker?
No, I mean, obviously we all started, somewhere, and yes, I've done some of my coolest edits in the past in Movie Maker. It's possible. I feel like I mastered Movie Maker at one point.
Okay, yeah. You should make a tutorial line.
How to edit a CDawg VA video in Movie Maker.
Oh man, that yeah. Well, at least you're working with live footage, and it's not like a Nux video where nothing is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you actually have to composite an entire video.
Oh yeah,
true.
I'm just going to close up.
Yeah,
like that. But man,
dude, you know what? One of the most horrendous things that Nux does is just never specifying things. Like, so I did. It was one of his videos. I forgot what it was. But he was talking about how he's not going to go into the manga of Attack on Titan, or he's not going to go into the manga stuff. He's just talking about anime, where he's talking. It was like one of his top videos things, top 10 or top 5 or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, Attack on Titan anime, not much happened." But then he mentions the fucking manga, and I'm like, "But the Attack on Titan manga, really? The manga? I thought you said there was no manga being used in this fucking video, dude." And then you don't even specify it to me what part in the manga, so I have to like pretty much, I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna even go into the manga. You know what you're gonna get? You're gonna get Saitama's face when he looked at that mole guy, right? Just like really pissed off, and with the words, "Really, Nux?" That's what you're getting. And then there was like another video where I did something kind of like that, where it was like he mentioned like No Game No Life. It was like I think it was talking about like strategies or something, top 10 like anime strategies or whatever, like the one where the main character in No Game No Life moves the fucking Toin Koss, right? And then he does his honorable mention, which is just the same thing over again. So I just have a video of myself like taking a nap in my chair with a book over my face, saying with the piranha plant music, the lullaby music playing, and with his image in the corner, and I'm just like not editing the same shit like in a text or whatever. Like, I'm not doing that again. Okay, it was hard enough because like trying to track down everything because sometimes he's not too specific. But it was also just like, really? You're gonna you want me to edit the same thing twice in a row? So you want me to repeat the very same edits I just did? Like, I'm not, nah.
Okay, so I've got a little burning question right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I honestly wish I had the balls to actually do some editor banter. But I want to ask you, Evan, since you've appeared in some videos with a little bit of banter or talk back, right?
And more like every Sea-Dog video I edit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one is the most memorable one?
I think the most memorable one for most people.
Or?
No, definitely not. The most memorable one is from last year, where he got on Fiverr to quote unquote find a girlfriend or whatever, and like the girl asked me to edit a part in the video, and I inserted myself saying no, like there's no budget for that. And I was like screaming, and like so many people just still bring that up to me to this day.
Evan, there's always the memes of like there's like an entire journey. It used to be like Evan the simp, and now Evan has like a girlfriend or something, right? So it's like,
and also PS5 secured, man.
Oh yeah,
heck yeah, man,
bruh. The PS5 here in Norway. Do you want to know how much it costs? Like, here's the thing: the PS5 in the US is actually a really damn good deal. Here in Norway, we have to pay like
an arm and a leg.
Yeah, we have to basically offer both a kidney and a lung, basically.
Yeah,
we're talking about $750.
I'm probably not even going to bother getting a PS5 anyways, because it's like there's like, especially on the JRPG side, they've been doing a lot of really stupid censoring of stuff. Like, there's this one image I saw of a JRPG, of like some kind of visual novel-esque game for the PS4 that had like just 75% of the screen is a sunbeam, and I'm like, really? And when you actually get to what the original image looked like, it was just her in a swimsuit, right? That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Like I'm not gonna like. They want me to shovel out money for The Last of Us 2, right?
Imagine God rays over a bikini, and you imagine they're naked, and then you see the uncensored one, and they are actually clothed, and it's like.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Yeah. The censored one is actually worse.
Like, you want me to buy The Last of Us 2, but you won't want me to buy this JRPG. And it's like, I'm not even gonna buy The Last of Us 2, especially not after how they handled Joel. You know, it's like, if you want to kill him off, there's better ways to do it. But
and also, it was kind of a weird retcon on that doctor from the end of the first one.
Yeah, there was a retcon there, I guess. Kind of like a...
Hey, they could have actually foreshadowed it saying, yo, please, don't do anything, I got a daughter. Or some stuff like that. But it was like, she's the hope of humanity and all of that.
Yeah.
Egging him on, basically, to shoot him.
And also, there's like a... Can we just like talk about how stupid some of the West is with like okay, so you know how like the West has like a problem with like quote unquote lolly stuff and, you know, shota stuff. There was, you know, Life is Strange. Life is Strange 2 had underage sex in it, and I'm like, really? Like two underage people like having sex, and I'm like, you got a problem with like, and it looks more realistic too because of the like the you know, the images, you know, the character models, and I'm like, that you're okay with that though. It's like it have some consistency is all I ask, you know. Either none of it is good, or all of it is quote unquote not good, but not so bad because it's fictional. So it's like, you don't have to say it's good. Don't bother trying to censor something if you're not going to censor the other thing, which is arguably worse. Because they'll say that a 17-year-old girl is a lolly, you know, like, because it's just ridiculous. Just be consistent is all I ask. Because at least with consistent people, you can tell whether you're going to get stabbed in the back or not. Like, if somebody consistently stabs you in the back, you probably know not to talk to that person.
Or at the very least, put them in a German suplex and just swing them at a concrete wall.
Just lock them up in a cage, like a rat. Put them on a little rat wheel.
All right. I guess a little bit back into topic. I don't know. Let's see.
So, how often do you make use of green screens, Evan?
I don't use a lot of green screens, and Connor doesn't use green screens either, so I don't really have to use too much green screen stuff. Unless, I guess, there are green screen assets that I do steal from YouTube sometimes, but not that often.
I mean, here's the thing. If it's on YouTube, and it's not behind, like, some paywall, it's not, I don't consider it stealing. Like, if you're,
that's fair.
Like, for example, like, somebody, like, goes out of their way to make a green screen of Paimon and Genshin Impact saying, and I'm like, really? You think you can? I wouldn't even consider that stealing, because first of all, you stole the fucking Paimon stuff to begin with to make that green screen. You didn't have. It's not like you asked for permission to pay. You paid for a license to turn that one thing into a green screen, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it just comes down to fair use, and I think a lot of people, when it comes to fair use, they're very selective with it, despite it being a universal law. It's like, okay, if something is fair use, it's fair use. It doesn't matter whether it's a corporation doing it or a person doing it. If it's fair use, it's fair use. A lot of it comes down to, like, the percentage used.
Yeah, that reminds me of a dear friend of mine, Alpha Sigma. He's got a very weird story with or history with Pornhub.
Pornhub, right? Yeah.
Yes. So basically, he's the dude who did the Ishizuka Reviewers.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah.
Fan service compilation, which was constantly taken down because an actual third party wanted to have a traffic monopoly on Ishizuka Reviewers and try to use donations as well. Yeah.
And then you also have, like, third parties like that fucking
Funimation. Here's the thing. It was already weird enough with the thought that Funimation was copyright striking a Pornhub compilation.
Oh, yeah. But not just that, it's like when it comes to, like, third parties, you have all these different, like, infamous third parties who claim on behalf of other companies, because other companies
military masturbator guy.
Or like that Yami, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Just so, it's kind of a bitch move to go that route, you have, like, third parties. Just do it yourself. Because those third parties don't care whether it's fair use or not. Okay, they're just looking to get paid.
So have you had any recent kind of disputes or whatever to go through?
Yeah, that's interesting to hear about, because I've got some stories too about disputes. Evan.
Yeah.
You have any disputes stories you want to share?
In terms of editing?
In terms of copyrights and stuff.
So I am notoriously known in AniTube. I'm very proud of this. To be the guy that has edited videos that have never been copyrighted or struck down in any way.
Damn.
I have a clean record.
Okay, Evan,
is it because
we might have to ask you to guest again, because we would very much like to hear your tips and tricks.
I don't know. I guess it's just
maybe.
Here's
an idea. I got an idea. Make a short video, and then we could put it at the end. Your own personal tips and tricks.
Personal tips and tricks. That sounds like a lot of work. No, I mean. Yeah, I just found out the YouTube, like, basic guidelines of how, what's okay and what's not. And I was like, cool, I'm just going to restrict myself even more than that. It's just that simple, really.
Yeah.
People will say, oh, YouTube allows, like, 10-second clips. I'm like, cool, I'm going to use 5-second or less clips.
Yeah.
So, which is why, like, if you've noticed with my editing, it's just really fast. It's always just so fast.
I think also depends on the anime itself, too, if it's, like, an anime. But you know, I think a lot of times I've found that the anime clips themselves don't get claimed too often. It's actually like the music that's used in the background more often. Like especially with like like with Evangelion music, right?
Yeah.
That gets claimed a lot. Normally, it's never been struck for me. I've never had a video struck where I used like Evangelion music, but sometimes it gets claimed, you know? Like, especially like the preview song that they use at the end of every episode.
So, that's kind of weird because when I was working on that Nux video with voice actors, here's the thing, I've only edited 2 Nux videos this far.
Yeah.
So the first one, originally it had the visuals of the second opening of JoJo's, because he was singing in the melody of that opening, especially that one part, and I decided to put it as a background while I was singing, but it was not the audio that was claimed, it was actually the visuals. I think it's because the actual audio, right? Just to put it into a kind of comedic setting, I put it on a low pass filter. Oh no, a high pass one. To give it a you know kind of a radio vibe. Yeah. Just for the irony, right? The whole setting was basically within a recording booth, which was also basically a really, really, really well done clip art. It was all vectors. It was not an actual image, and I'm really damn shocked about it. But also not because those screens were horribly photoshopped.
Right.
But yeah.
So here's a question: what's the dumbest video you've ever done?
Oh, me?
All of us. So Evan, okay. Evan, you go first because you're the guest.
Dumbest video I've ever done. Ooh.
Both for yourself and for others.
Damn. That's a really good question. For myself, I'm not sure. I've definitely done a lot of dumb videos for myself, and I honestly I've edited so many videos at this point that I don't even remember.
Let me guess. It's a waifu review, right?
I probably was. but in terms of for Sea-Dog, his grinder video where I like pretty much animated mostly everything in that video.
So like
that video was intense.
Keyframing stuff.
Yeah, because like the entire video was voice acted by different voice actors.
That actually reminds me. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I just had to keyframe all the characters on screen to look like they were talking to one another and stuff like that. It was intense.
Oh yeah. So the dumbest video for me, is kind of a toss up because I'm working on an animated series, right, for myself. And it's animated like Inferno Cop, right, where you have the still images and stuff, and sometimes I'll create like custom assets, for like different scenes. But yeah, basically, it's about anime becoming real, right? 3 cops in a city, and spoiler alert, Elon Musk is the villain. So by the end of the first episode, anime becomes real. So it's just really a lot of dumb fun. But if we want to talk legit, just really, really cringy that I went, so it was supposed to be an April Fool's video, right? But I missed a deadline. I started by missed a deadline, so I decided, I'm just going to go all the way with this and make it longer than intended and make it cringy. It was a waifu review of Neptunia. And with the way I work on videos, I made it super cringe. So for each category of what makes a waifu, it's like a waifu review where it's like, is this a waifu or not? But it's like, so each category was basically, I would sing a song, right? For most of them, except for the last one. But basically, I sang a different song about pudding, right?
Oh gosh.
And so, what happened was, the first one I did, Welcome to the NHK.
Yeah.
That pudding song, Pudurin. I did that one. Put it in. There was a song from Beelzebub, that anime with the baby, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, Zoro is a baby.
Yeah. So I sang like 3 or 4 songs, and at the last one I was like, okay, fuck it. I ran out of putting songs, and it was like the category was like I love boobies, and it was talking about Purple Heart when she transforms into Purple Heart. So it's just like boobies, 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 just like that. But that was that's the dumbest video I worked on for myself, I guess, in a way you could say. But for other people, probably one of the first 3 greatest plots in hentais. One of those hentai videos for like Nux.
As for me, the dumbest one has to be the one flex from every single episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I had to basically find one flex from every single episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, I had to archive all of JoJo's.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to convert the MKV all the way to MP4 without the subtitles.
Yep. That's just like torture. That's not so much.
Wait, I actually had to include the subtitles, but Handbrake, being the worst one to handle of all, I had to fiddle around with it for 10 hours, just converting. Like, I was so dumb at that time because I had to spend like 2 whole days converting it on my PC. And here's the thing, my PC is in my bedroom because I still live with my parents and all of that. I'm still not really, self-sustained, whatever. So basically, I had to sleep for 2 nights with the fan going at 100%.
Oh my god, so much noise from that fan, huh?
Yeah, it just goes. Yeah.
Yep.
And and here's the thing.
Yeah.
That cooler is a big chunker. We're talking about 2 140mm fans.
Big chungus.
On an actual, yeah, it's a big chunking chungus.
The chungest of chungus.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, that's more like torture than just being a dumb video, though.
I'll be completely real. All my edits has been torture. The 10-day story, you haven't heard half of it. So, Evan, remember when I actually asked for pointers?
You did.
Yeah, like, okay. For example, like, how do I make Nux's avatar move?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually asked that.
Presets.
Yeah. So basically after that, here's the thing. The original deadline was the first coming Friday that week.
Yep.
But I didn't make it because on Thursday there was a 3 days long
Power outage.
Heat wave.
Oh god, yeah, it just nearly killed you.
We're talking about way past 30 degrees Celsius, or in freedom measurements, it is basically way past 100.
I find it easier to work in cold weather than hot weather, so
Yeah,
I get
same
that.
Here.
I get that.
But I am just happy I'm not using a DSLR camera because I don't want it to overheat in those circumstances. I did notice some instances on your streams, Evan.
It only overheats because like I live in LA and it's like some days like it's very hot, like it's over 100 degrees here, so yeah, it'll overheat. But like most days it's fine.
Yeah.
Also them goddamn gender reveals.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
Them gender reveals overheating my camera.
Since we're talking about just weather and stuff in general, how have you been handling yourself during the pandemic, Evan?
I've been vibing with it, it's been chill. I mean, like, it hasn't really affected me directly, and I've been like, doing my best to get by.
Yeah.
But I guess the hardest thing is that because of the pandemic, I can't really, to do a lot of things that I wanted to do. Like I was supposed to travel to 5 different countries this year, but also I can't really see my girlfriend as often as I would like.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate.
Well, yeah, at least you're not where I am. I'm stuck in like the sticks, right now, because my mom was like, you got to come over to this, because she has a country house, so had to come over here. It's like a 6-hour walk to and back from like the nearest like grocery store or something.
Oh, jeez.
Like, dude, there's so much nature out here. It's more annoying because it's like I got to make sure that every corner of the house is like covered with something like tape or whatever, because like cracks could could have like all kinds of little critters crawling in it.
Sounds like your mom's ready for The Walking Dead.
At night, you have to like have a flashlight just in case, so you don't like you'll know if you're about to walk near like a snake or something.
Does you guys have a car? And I know you said it was like a 2-hour walk to anything close.
Yeah, and then you also sometimes it can get really annoying. I guess because some people it's like, you know what, maybe I'll just order online because I don't feel like walking to a store with a mask on or whatever. Because some places will require you to wear a mask.
Makes sense.
At least with Texas, where I am, they're like opening up, so it's like, especially like, nowadays I'm kind of not too scared of it because it's like, you have all these reports coming out that's like for example, the death rate was like 94% were like comorbidity, and that it's like they're now saying there's like a 99% survival rate or something. So I'm like, okay, it's probably not as bad as they first thought. So it's like, you know what, I might not be too scared of it, so if I ever had to, it's like if I was in the city, if I ever had to, it's like, okay, I'll just walk somewhere. Maybe wear a mask, because like most places would still require you to wear one anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, and all the people saying you're gonna kill grandma or something, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't think at this point I need to hear that, It's like it's not that bad anymore.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's
and on my end,
not to mention the fact that it's like really politicized now. A lot of people are politicizing the disease. So I'm like,
the Florida governors, what the hell are they doing? A lot of them are basically saying, "Let them rot. We have God's will to not wear masks." Like, bruh.
Well, it's better to be safe than sorry, but at the same time, I can understand why they wouldn't be too scared of it anymore, especially after all the info. And, just like there's a lot of politicizing, behind it, just like for example, like a lot of it happened during the protests where people started like complaining, saying it's like, you wouldn't let us protest, but you'll let them. And I'm like, I can kind of see where they would be coming from, but I can see, why some protests are important to happen, But at the same time, it's like, I could see it from both sides. The lockdown protests were like, at this point, you can kind of see what they're talking about because the lockdown pretty much practically is destroying the economy. Like to do such a mass-wide protest, like not protest, but lockdown. And then you have like, I can see where like there needs to be some kind of police reform as well.
So what I'm doing throughout all of this is basically just working on my portfolio. Because, believe it or not, I have no formal education in media or whatever. Yeah, I started out with graphic design for 5 years. Like just self-taught stuff through Inkscape.
Welcome to the club, because I'm self-taught too. Never went anywhere. No classes, no nothing.
Oh. What about you, Evan?
Yep.
I went to school to study visual effects and computer animation. Ooh. And I worked in the industry on a couple movies, TV shows, and commercials for a few years. I did that from 2012 to like 2014.
Yeah.
And then, after that, I still like worked on a few stuff past 2014, but not as much.
Right.
Then in 2017/18, I decided, fuck it, let me try the whole YouTube thing. So yeah.
So here's another.
I have a professional background.
Yeah. So here's another question. Also, how did you start editing for other people? Like,
they asked me to. It's simple.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not like it's not like
it's not like.
Yeah,
I didn't go out of my way asking them if they needed an editor. It is, I guess because I would always say that I have a professional background from Hollywood, and they were like, "Oh, this guy knows what he's doing," and that's it.
Yeah, It's a good thing you got out of Hollywood though, and you started doing YouTube because Hollywood has.
I prefer Hollywood. I definitely prefer Hollywood. It's definitely a lot more fun.
Hollywood is where you go to get ruined, dude. Like, dude.
I would disagree.
Like, dude, it's like, if you ever get like big in Hollywood, you'll see a lot of shady shit, and there's a lot of drugs in Hollywood too that you.
Well, yeah, I've seen the good and the bad sides of Hollywood. I don't mind either.
Sometimes the bad is just a necessary evil, but
pretty much, yeah. It's one of those things. Like, I'm from LA, and I feel like you need to be a kind of a dick to survive in this city. If you're not, like, this city will bury you.
When you say being a dick, do you mean like just being like a dick like Andy Dick, or like being a Harvey Weinstein dick?
Not a Harvey Weinstein. That's a little too far. But I don't know. You just have to be a little brash sometimes. Otherwise, like, people are just gonna walk all over you in the city.
Yeah. You just have to be like, hey, well, I'm fucking walking here, you piece of shit! Suck my fucking dick, you sack of shit! Get out of my fucking way!
Yeah, exactly.
People, like, just get, like... It's like, it's like, there was this one guy who didn't get to go, and, like, I was in LA a few times before, but, in one of the years I was in LA, like, this guy's driving, right? And just... it's not even his time. It's like somebody drives before him, right? When the light turns green or whatever. Then he gets out of the car and just just throws something at the car and just like takes his hat off and is like, "What then, bitch? What then?" And I'm like, why is he so fucking mad? Like, are you mad that somebody else went before you? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, okay, gentlemen. I think I'll be summoned now. Actually,
yeah, damn, yeah. It's been quite a long time now.
Yeah, they're pinging and calling me now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a great time talking to you, Evan.
Yeah.
Hey, no, thank you for having me.
Anyways,
we got to talk a little bit of editing.
Yeah. So this has been the Backseat Editors podcast. I'm Kaiser Trigger. I don't know my left nut from my right nut. Heiny boy, you want to do your little send off?
Yeah. I would just like to add that according to statistics, 100% of you are not subscribed, so please do.
Yep, 100%. So, Evan, you want to do a little send-off? You want to...
Thank you guys for having me. Don't subscribe to my YouTube channel, but, definitely subscribe to this one.
You don't want to do any shameless shills, any shameless plugs?
No, I'm good.
No.
77,000 subscribers
I'll
is
report,
enough.
But I'll report to Nox and say that they can add our sub counts.
Nah, we're fine.
Just kidding.
We're fine.
Yeah. You'll be completely fine. You'll reach those 100Ks with it.
I want it.
One of these days, you're going to be streaming and you're going to get a Billy raid.
I'm okay.
Yeah. It's not like he's already gone through like a dozen of Billy raids already.
Except for
okay. I think we're kind of dragging it on now.
Yeah, but anyway, so
I gotta go, guys.
Yeah.
Later.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, goodbye, folks. Make sure to check the description. We'll have Evan's channel and my channel, and I guess Heiny's Twitter or whatever, unless he makes his own channel.
I'll do stuff on my channel eventually, I believe.
Yeah. So, anyways, make sure to subscribe to this channel, and since I do a lot of personal projects, you mind subscribing to my Patreon? I really could use the money. I'm working on an animated series. Okay, goodbye.